This is episode 290 of How About That Cigar, recorded live at the Corona Cigar Studio. On this episode, we talk to Justin Moore about Legacy Leaf Consulting and much more. Please take a minute to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Now on with the show.
Corona Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
Well, how about that cigar? And welcome back.
We are back, baby. So after a couple weeks off, thank you so much for being back with us on How About That Cigar Live, episode 290. Thank you guys so much for being with us in the Corona Cigar Studios in rainy
Forest Lake, Minnesota.
All of a sudden, massive thunderstorm today. What's that?
It's Corona Studio, right?
Corona Cigar Studio.
Yeah.
Did I say that?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
We're rusty. I'm gonna
It's very rusty. But we do want to thank everybody for being with us, whether you're watching live on Facebook, live on YouTube, or live on
Rumble.
And of course, if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thanks so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. Take just a minute, click on all the big, beautiful buttons, regardless of where you're watching or listening. Click on the like button, the follow button, the subscribe button. It helps us out a ton, and it makes sure that you don't miss anything going on with How About That Cigar Live. So without further ado,
let's bring our
incredible, illustrious producer,
bald producer.
What is up?
Who's that guy? Who's that? Where's Jesse Smokes?
I don't know what happened to him.
What happened?
I don't know. Something happened to him. Don't tell.
What happened?
We did have a producer named Justy Smoke who had a massive black beard.
Yeah, it went down to his butthole.
And
well, actually the front, so whatever that is.
Yeah,
belly
if it was
belly button.
If it went
belly button.
If it went down to his butthole, that'd be a mullet, not a beard.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you have to be able to grow hair to know that, though, right?
No, hold on a second. He could just go like this.
That's true.
He could go like this.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
the double flip. Oh, that's
split it
next time.
Go over the shoulder.
Yeah,
next time.
That's right.
Over the shoulder.
Considering it,
3 years.
It didn't. Well, it was 3 years, but to get to the length that you kind of had gotten it groomed to, it didn't take you very long.
Less than a year.
That's for those of us who like if I shave this
is already less than a week.
If I shave this down to the skin, to get back to where this is, which is not a very long beard at all, this would take me 6 weeks.
Okay.
Wow.
So I don't have that kind of testosterone is. I don't know. I'm not as much of a man as Justy is. Period.
Yeah.
But we always knew that.
Well, let's talk about the Yankees.
How
did I know you were gonna
get their ass kicked by the Lakers? They got owned. Not the Lakers. The other fucking team. The
Dodgers.
I hate
but the Yankees are still in first place by like 4 games. It doesn't matter.
They got their asses whooped by the team that we're supposed to be able to beat for the World Series.
They're still in first place by 4 games.
He's never happy.
No, not.
But it's a long season. It's June. It's June 2nd.
It's those games that count, though.
Oh, is it? I don't know about that.
Count. That's where his head's at. I see it.
You just gotta get a playoff spot.
They can beat the Twins all the time. It's not even a challenge.
They do beat the Twins all the time.
It's not even a challenge. They have to beat that upper top chalant teams. Those teams that are up there.
I know. Speaking of the Twins,
they look
they started off horrible,
and
then so while we were on
hiatus
for 2 weeks, not having How About That Cigar Live. Last time we had a show, the Twins had just won 8 straight games. They went on to put up a 13-game winning streak.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they've been, they're still, they've been up and down since then, but mostly up, to be honest. They've really been doing pretty well. So, but it helps. They're getting guys back from injury, blah, blah, blah. But still, if the Twins continue to improve, then yeah, they might get a wild card spot in September, and then they'll
Don't
lose.
treat them. I think they can
lose in
say
the
first
first round.
place. I think they can get first place.
Well, they could, but I don't know.
They're still going to lose in the first round if they play the Yankees. But that's besides the point.
That's
So
yeah.
Let's talk about, unfortunately, the terrible NBA championship that's going to start soon.
Yeah. So since we were on live last time, also,
Yeah, what happened there?
the Wolves lost. I mean, the Wolves look great, but once again, Western Conference Finals, the Western Conference Championship, the Timberwolves lose yet again. 2 years in a row, we lost in the Western Conference Championship.
And
at least
so
they're consistent.
They are consistent.
Yeah.
they gave us a good year. They gave us a great playoff run. They knocked out LeBron, which that would have been enough for me right there.
Yeah.
The goat of flopping. He's a feigning goat. That's what he is. Feigning goat.
I'm not.
By the way,
I'm not a fan.
while I was down in Kansas City, we went down this weekend to Kansas City.
Nice.
I don't drink, but I was thinking I could drink this town under.
It's possible. I don't know. There's a lot of drinkers in Kansas City.
I could have drunk all of them under. I would have came out of retirement just for that. No, that place is fucking cool.
No, Kansas City's really
Angie
nice.
is kidding.
I like it a lot. So yeah, sorry.
I got
NBA
distracted.
Finals. NBA Finals.
a sleeper.
Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. Now, do I think the Pacers have a chance? Absolutely not.
No.
Will they maybe win one game? Maybe.
Maybe.
I have a soft spot for the Pacers because I grew up in Indiana, but do I think they stand a snowball's chance
No.
now? Absolutely not. But anyway, that series starts on Thursday night. Another series starts on Wednesday night, and that is the Stanley Cup Final.
Who's in it now? The Canucks
Florida Panthers
and the Canucks.
and the Edmonton Oilers.
They're Canucks.
No.
Canadian team.
Well, they're Canadian.
Not the
but
Canucks.
They're
Yeah,
not the
you're right.
Canucks.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's Edmonton.
Canadian team.
So I'm definitely rooting for the Oilers. Personally, anytime if the Wild aren't in it, I'm going to root for whoever the team is that's from Canada. Period. I'm just going to root for the Canadian.
Why is that?
Because it Canada just is such a hockey loving country.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Fuck Canada.
Jeez.
Wow.
There's always got to be that one guy.
We're going to get letters.
No, you know why? Because they're burning all the trees up there, and it's making it bad quality down here.
We are getting the haze.
We're getting
from
our ass
from the
I love
Canadian
Canadians. I love everybody I know that's from Canada. Are awesome people. I'm just kidding. Yeah, and Florida, they shouldn't have a hockey team. Period.
They have a fantastic hockey team. They're really, really good.
Yeah, they shouldn't. It should be somewhere up here.
It should be a northern.
It should be north.
So they should only be able to exist in the northern parts of the.
Nothing south of the
world.
Mason-Dixon should have hockey.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Where's the
that's
fun in that?
But I do love Canadians. I'm just kidding. But I do love Canadians. And everybody I know that's from Canada or Canada. We're kind of like Southern Canada. So
Minnesota's basically southern Canada.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's get to something cool.
Let's get to this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us
Bye.
by Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list but found their way onto other lists? Well, fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry.
And speaking about them, I am smoking their Habano.
Nice. So as you can see, the glass is that's a healthy pour. We're going to call that a healthy pour. Whenever the pour is above the logo on the How About That cigar glass, that's a healthy pour.
Yep.
So
And I can tell you one thing about it. It is a bourbon.
it is a bourbon.
And it is straight from Kansas City.
I enjoy the aromas.
Just cracked the bottle open on the way here. Oh, that's good.
Oh, okay. I like that. It's got a little heat to it. It's a little higher proof, from what I can tell.
We just
Little
lost somebody.
higher proof, and it's got some interesting stuff going on. It's a little more than I can't quite pick it out, but it's more. There's more than just your average
From under.
bourbon notes. It's more than just like your average. oak and vanilla and maybe a little bit of citrus. I mean, am I getting all that? Yeah, but there's also some other
Something there.
like brown sugar maybe or
Brown Rican?
toasted something marshmallow or some kind of like
tried.
dark sugar kind of
I just told you.
sweetness.
It's spicy Rican in there.
So it's a spicy Rican.
Yeah, it's a new flavor. It's like that Fermunda, but it's
Oh.
Puerto Rican flavor.
Yes. Thank you, Justin.
I got you.
And he's
Nice.
he's
Mofongo?
picking up. He's picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah. Well, not really, because I don't want to pick that shit up.
Yeah, don't go anywhere near that. But it's good. I'm a healthy pour that's higher proof. I'm gonna have an interesting night on the show, but we will reveal what this is. I will try to guess it later in the show, and when I fail to guess it properly, then Raul will let us know what it is.
I also bring you a stout beer to drink with that I thought would go good. But
Sorry, I put that in the fridge. I gotta pace myself.
The fridge is so far away. So far.
I mean, you can run and grab it for me.
I gotta pace myself though, and I can't get too boozed up on the show.
I think Mr. Moore is going to fall asleep.
I agree. All right, let's bring on our special guests, and as always on How About That Cigar Live, special guests brought to us by Drew Estate. And Drew Estate is proud to unveil Deadwood Dominicana. She represents a milestone for Drew Estate with the focus purely on the Dominican tobaccos inside, all enhanced by the Mexican San Andreas binder and Connecticut shade wrapper leaf with a premium sweet cap. Available in 4x38, 5x50, 6x50, and 6x60. Dominicana made her grand debut at the 2025 PCA trade show in New Orleans. The cigar has an MSRP of $6.50 through $13.50 per cigar. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together and help us out. Welcome to episode 290 from Legacy Leaf Consulting, Mr. Justin Moore. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, guys. How are you?
What's up, buddy?
Fantastic. So grateful to have you on the show, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
2 Justins on the show. What are we going to do? The world's going to implode.
Oh boy!
I think
2's always better than 1.
Yeah,
that's right. I think we can. I think we can figure this out. We
2
can.
nuts are better than 1 nut.
All of us in our brain power can figure out how to make sure we know which Justin we're talking to.
And before we get started,
because our producer is Justy Smoke.
Yes.
Oh,
and our guest is Justin.
Yes. There we go. We got problem solved.
See,
we can move to the next level.
This is why I make the big bucks, ladies and gentlemen.
And before Raul loses it, Daniel Lance wants to say, Raul, hope you're feeling better today. It was great to see you.
It's great seeing you too, brother. I think it was the powdered Tylenol that fucked me up.
Oh, hold on.
We're supposed to snort it, Raul.
Hold on. The powdered Tylenol.
Right.
I think that messed me up, brother. But it was great seeing you. Thank you for your hospitality in Kansas City. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the new Churchill that comes out soon.
Me too.
So,
all right. Who are you? What do you do? And I love your haircut.
Justin, let's start out with where are you
at least we're good. Yeah.
Where are you broadcasting from? And where are you broadcasting from? And what are you smoking and drinking with us on the show tonight?
Yeah, I am tonight unexpectedly broadcasting from Southern Virginia, my parents' house. So behind me are a bunch of trees and deer. I'm going to have an owl out here soon. Smoking Casa Fuente.
Nice.
Haven't had one in a while, so decided I'd smoke this one tonight. It's been a little while, so yeah.
What beverage are you consuming tonight?
Agua.
I'm
drinking responsible. Okay, agua. I'm trying to be responsible.
Nice.
I like it.
Although that pour of bourbon did look quite delicious. That's what I like to call a man pour.
Yeah,
it's also nutritious.
It is. It's grain.
It's organic.
It's organic.
It's vegan.
Yeah. It's made with cool, clear water.
Yeah. I thought you said cool water. I was like, wait, what?
Cool water.
It could be filtered in cool water.
So yeah, and honestly, a couple more sips into it, I am actually really, really enjoying that pour. So I can't wait to find out what it is.
The good thing about it is I have more at home.
Yeah.
What are you all smoking over there?
Oh yeah. You said already.
I already said the Habano from Postani.
And I'm smoking the blackened M81 Maduro from Drew Estate.
All right. And then I have a Roma Craft Aquatine.
I like it better. Roma Quaft.
Roma Craft. Yeah.
Or Roma Quaft.
Quaft. It's
I'm
Quaft.
going to say that to Skip next time I talk to him. Roma Quaft.
Roma Quaft.
No, that might
does sound good.
be trademark infringement or I don't know.
Yeah. Somebody's got
some kind of infringement. I don't know
somewhere.
what kind of infringement.
Guys, we have a guest.
Oh, we have a guest.
Oh,
we
sorry,
you
John.
go ahead.
Somebody's in the house. Somebody's in the house with us.
Raleigh, you jump in. You start this ball rolling and get us back on track, Raleigh.
Justin, we met a few years ago at Tobaccology in Virginia, and you happened to be with a friend of ours, and that's where I met you. It was Garrett, actually, and your story has evolved. So tell us how you got into the cigar business,
A little bit.
how you got doing what you're doing now, and all that fun stuff.
But before you get into that, tell us about the first cigar that he smoked. I want to hear that too.
No, it goes from the bourbon into the cigar.
Got you.
See?
He's on it.
And he's buff, too.
Oh, I was starting bourbon.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, no, I mean, I've been smoking cigars since college when I was playing really crappy golf and drinking a case of Coors Light. And so by the back nine, it didn't matter what I was smoking or drinking. Yeah, I think back then it was whatever someone gave me. The first cigar that I remember, I purchased at a store locally in Northern Virginia that it turns out I'm ironically very close friends with the owner now, many, many years later. But it was a My Father, Le Bijou.
Oh,
It's my ass.
That's a very good thing.
that's a nice mild cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mild.
They were like, "Oh, you're looking for some good cigars?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Just give me a couple." I'm going to this cigar night, with some work folks. I just need a cigar or two to smoke. Yeah, it was like that and a flathead.
Oof.
Whoa. What a way to jump into the pool. Holy cow. Deep end.
Yeah. That was years ago. That was like, God, 13, 14, 15 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I've learned a little.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow.
Now, give us a story on how you went from bourbon to cigars to the gym to your new company.
So, I got started in bourbon years ago. I'm from the country, so everybody drinks bourbon here. That's what I grew up on. But years ago, I was looking for something fun. Found a local distillery in Northern Virginia, Catoctin Creek. Met with the owners, said, "Hey, I'd really like to work with you as an ambassador." And so I spent a couple weekends a month going out teaching people about whiskey, teaching people specifically about the organic rye whiskey that the distillery was making. Had a blast. That was why I started my Instagram page originally, was because I needed an outlet for showing that I was going to events and doing things like that. It continued to evolve. I met some really wonderful friends through the bourbon community. Of course, right, the natural proclivity for folks to smoke cigars and drink bourbon is massive. So I started delving into cigars a little bit more, and then I met a good buddy of mine, Joe. Has been huge in pushing me into boutique cigars many years ago. And I got really geeky about it, fell in love with cigars, fell in love with the craft, the passion, the history. And I think I was saying earlier, right, I learned that, I could smoke cigars all day, every day, but I can't drink all day, every day and still maintain a job. And so I really dove in to cigars. I wanted to learn everything I could. I spent time, I was working remotely at the time for an incident response company. So I would work from the cigar lounge 5 days a week. So I smoked a lot of cigars, smoked through the entire humidor. And then I got to working with Scandinavian Tobacco Group on some influencer stuff, writing reviews for their website. And I just kept going. Met a lot of wonderful people in the community. Got linked up with Don Doroteo Cigars a few years ago. Ended up working with them for a few years. Ended up vice president of sales for the Eastern U.S. So learned a ton on the retail side that I wasn't familiar with. And I paired that with the knowledge that I was gaining from my friend who owns 4 stores in Northern Virginia. So I was learning both sides at the same time. So just a ton of stuff. And I did all this, right, mostly because I'm just passionate about cigars. You know, I work full time in big tech. So this is my passion. That led me to this year founding Legacy Leaf. You know, Legacy Leaf Consulting, myself right now. Our goal is to help aspiring and boutique cigar founders launch with confidence. So that means everything from, you know, partnering with trusted factories, guiding them through the manufacturing process, branding, retail strategy, legal compliance, retail assistance. You know, it's kind of a turnkey solution for starting successful cigar brands.
Nice.
So I'm a dork that's got a lot of money.
Well, let's wait on that one. Let's wait on
that.
Yeah, I want to save that toward a little later.
Okay.
If you have a lot of, I'm going to give you my Venmo, my Cash App. You just fire off as much money as you want.
Well,
if you're just trying to get rid of money.
Just a quick kind of side question is, and I'm curious, honestly, just for myself, because you said, you know, full-time day job is big tech. And I'm just curious because I also work in technology, just kind of what segment of technology, you don't have to name the company, but what's like part of technology do you mostly deal with?
Yeah, I don't mind saying, if you check out my LinkedIn, it'll say it there too. Now I'm the head of U.S. cyber intelligence for TikTok. Before that, I was with Google, who purchased the incident response company that I was working for, which is I'm very biased, but also it is the #1 incident response company in the world, called Mandiant. And so that was my second career. My first career was working in the intelligence community for 9 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's get into that.
You know, there's a lot of secrets about a lot of people.
Intelligence community. Is that all computer wise, or is that
like CIA
is
stuff?
that like
or
sitting in cars watching people?
I spent yes, I'm very familiar with surveillance and surveillance detection. I operated on 5 continents around the world. Got to work with some amazing people. Spent the early part of my career working with special operations and some tier 1 units.
Were you in the military?
I was not. I was. I grew up wanting to be Rambo.
Like all of us.
Dead serious. Yeah, kid of the 80s. Both of my uncles were in the military, so I grew up like wearing all of their hand-me-down gear and eating MREs for fun. And I got to high school and I was like, I was telling my uncle, who was Air Force Special Operations a rescue pilot, and I said, well, I kind of just want to go, kill bad people and save good people. He goes, well, I'm going to make you go to college first. If you still want to do it after that, I'll help you do it. I did go to college, got my undergrad degree, ended up, I was waiting tables in Northern Virginia, waited on a gentleman one night who offered me a job after talking to me. It turns out it was the former director of CIA, John Brennan, who had retired and was working at a contracting company. And so he hired me. I worked for his company for a number of years. While I was there, after my first year, John got tapped to go be the counterterrorism advisor to the president at the time. So he left. That was how I got my start. I contracted for 9 solid years. And then I transitioned out into cybersecurity. That's my story.
Was that an easy transition?
It was incredibly hard, actually. It was incredibly hard. I was traveling a lot. I was all around, traveling an immense amount. My daughter was young at the time. And that was the only world I'd known. And so then it was like, hey, I'm going to go to this company. And I kid you not, the first 6 months, I thought I was in over my head. They were talking about the business jargon. I'm like, man, I don't know what you guys are talking about right now. Like, this is not like my forte. I was working with, I was in a client-facing position. I was working with a bunch of Fortune 200 companies, basically interacting with their CISOs who had our managed defense service So it was leading them through incident response and through minor compromises of their networks, trying to help them bolster their security programs. And then I moved into what's called the team's it's advanced practices. It's the technical team that does all of the technical attribution for nation state attackers. So that was what I did for a number of years before pivoting into more crisis communications for cyber incidents. And now a year and a half at building the program at TikTok.
Nice.
I've been on TikTok once or twice. It's kind of cool.
I'm actually not even on it. Actually, I'm like one of the only people at the company who's not on the app. It's like
Right.
it's not my thing. I think I'm too old or something. Like I don't fully get it. And like I've been on Instagram for so long that I just kind of stick to that. It's too much.
Yeah.
Too much work.
So you spent, like you mentioned, a little bit of time doing some work for STG, and you spent a couple of years doing some work for and helping, build some stuff at Don Doroteo. What made you decide, okay, I want to start something of my own, but I don't want it to be like an actual cigar brand. I want to be the service company that helps people build something.
I want to be the guy with the strings in the background.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really good at being the guy in the shadows. And I enjoy helping people. It's just it's something I've always enjoyed. I enjoy the process of navigating situations that are unknown or complicated for others. So I felt, with I've been very fortunate in the community to have met so many great people. A lot of folks who own their own cigar brands. That's all of the when they come in, and I thought, I think I can help folks. Like there are a lot of. I've also spent thousands of hours in cigar lounges around the country, and I don't think I've ever been to a lounge where I haven't heard, or hey, I kind of want to make my own cigars, or it'd be really cool to start my own cigar brand. And I know some folks through the Instagram community I've known for years who we've had this conversation, and they're like, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do. When I came up with the idea, I ran it by a close friend of mine who I trust, who's in the community. Said, man, this is awesome. Like this would have helped me. And I got the same kind of validation when I went to PCA. I guess that was 2 months ago now. And folks were like, man, this would have saved me hundreds of thousands in money. It would have saved me time and stress. So I thought, man, I guess I'm onto something. So yeah.
Nice. So now that's a great segue. I want to go through the
He
scenario.
just pitched you a nice one there.
He did.
Yeah.
So I'm a rich brat who just started smoking cigars. I'm in the lounge with you, and I'm like, wow, it'd be cool to have my own brand, to have my own.
Or it could be a working class guy who's been smoking cigars for a long time.
There are a lot of those.
Yeah.
I have my 401k. I just cashed out.
Yeah.
I've
got some money
got some money.
for whatever reason.
Let's fucking do this.
And he comes to you and he says, I want to start my own cigar brand, and I want to contract you to help me through the process
and to make me a badass mofo in the cigar business.
So take just, and obviously it's really intricate and granular, and we know that it's super complex, but like us, because we meet people all the time that, at the shops or at an event or something like that, man, how cool would it be to have my own cigar brand and stuff like that. And so, when that process starts with you and a new client starting a brand from the ground up, from scratch, give us like the Cliff Notes version of the steps that you take them through to get them into from concept to their first boxes shipping to retailers.
Sure. First thing I do is I got to verify that they're serious, and then I kind of got to scare them a little bit. I've professionalized the process. So I've got documentation, market sheets. I've got an immense amount of market research. And I want to tell them very clearly, you're not going to be a millionaire tomorrow. This is about passion. It's not like this kind of like, unless you have an immense amount of money and you really don't care, it's going to take an immense amount of work. And there's some, I have some wonderful friends in the community who own brands. Those guys are constantly on the road, right? It is a full-time job. If you decide to go the route where you want to set it up and let it run itself because you have 8 401ks that you've cashed in, that's great as well. And then I just run you step by step, right? We're going to find what are our initial timelines? Who are the factories we want to work with? I've got some trusted partners already in manufacturing that I'm super excited about working with. But that also includes things like, I've got box companies, branding companies. I've got marketing, distribution, and I can also help on the retail side for placement and strategy with retailers as well. So helping them understand that whole process, exactly how long it takes, and helping them understand the process of manufacturing as well. And also determining how involved do they want to be. They want to go and try a couple samples and just pick one, throw a band on it, say, hey, this is my cigar. Or they want to be really intimately involved in the process, right? Where, you're taking months to a year or so to really hone in the blend that you're really interested in. That exemplifies, right, the brand that you want to build. So really just walking them through the details, step by step.
Do you ask them at all about how long you've been smoking? How much do you know about cigars? Do you maybe even give them a school about how to, you got to make sure.
You have to educate, but it's a conversation, right? Like we're going to sit down and we're going to talk. Like, why are you interested in this? What's your goal, right? I mean, kind of business 101. Like, why do you want to do this, right? If you've been smoking for 6 months, you might want to think about it, unless you have a ton of money. Understanding that there's a lot of allure, right, in the cigar industry, especially for consumers who don't know the inside. And so it's kind of pulling back the curtain a little bit to let them know it's still hard work, right? Building a business in anywhere, in any industry is very difficult. But I'm here to guide you through that if you're serious about it.
Yeah.
So
because there's a lot of reputational impact for myself, because I can't have anybody coming in and like, yeah, I want to do this thing kind of half-assed, right? Because when I call a factory that I'm working with and I say, hey, I've got someone who I want to work with, right? They're ready to go, and then they pull out, or they're not serious, or they're difficult. That makes me look bad, right? Sure. And I don't want to burden people who I trust in the industry with that, because it just wouldn't be me. I have too much integrity. I like to do things the right way.
Yeah.
So I have a few $1 million, and I say, I want you to start my company out for me. I want you to help me pick my blends, and then I want you to run it for me. And I just want to be the face. What do you say to that?
Let's go.
Fuck me, pay me. Fuck it, pay me.
Yeah, let's go. We can do this. I think the guys, that I meet in the cigar lounge who are like, we're kind of interested. They don't have that kind of capital or liquid. But yeah, if you have a ton of money and you want to work, man, we can knock it out. But we can get rolling. So I'll take you to DR. I'll take you to Nicaragua, right? Wherever we're going, Costa Rica, and we'll get going. It's pretty easy.
Like, realistically, and obviously every scenario is going to be different, and every, all that, but kind of, like, let's say the everyman out there, who's got, maybe it's a working class person who, has a little bit of savings and a little bit of retirement savings, but, doesn't, is living a modest life, isn't wealthy, and kind of like an entry level, they're really passionate about cigars. They've been smoking cigars for a long time, and it's always just genuinely been a dream of theirs to have their own brand.
So let's just say a fireman that retired is going to retire in a few years.
I think we might know somebody like that. So, and they, they say, all right, I want they sit down and talk to you, and you learn in your first couple conversations that, they're really into Nicaraguan, flavors and Nicaraguan, cigars from a lot of the great Nicaraguan factories. Or even, let's say, it could be Dominican or Nicaraguan, either one. It honestly doesn't matter for this kind of
Scenario.
make-believe that we're talking about. And he says, could we start with literally one blend and 3 sizes to go, to hit the ground running, 1 blend, 3 sizes, and, boxes, bands, branding, social media, and all that. And I realize this is kind of an open scenario, but ballpark, what's somebody going to need to bring to the table to cover your costs, manufacturing costs, and startup costs to get 1 blend, 3 sizes into 10 shops to start with?
It's a good number. I like that number. He froze.
Great question. It depends. So certain factories, right, that I work with can handle more moderate sized orders. If you're looking, and so it's all about scaling. If you are, my goal is to help you. So if we need to piecemeal it and schedule it out, right, so you have enough money to cover everything, right, then that's just about forecasting and running the numbers and making sure that you're taken care of, right? Because the last thing I want to do is have someone come in, blow their entire 401k that they've cashed in the first year, and not understand that you still have an obligation to those 10 stores and the additional stores, right, that you want to be in the next year, to continue producing and manufacturing ahead of schedule, so that way you can meet orders. So it just depends. It depends on the blend. It depends on how much we want to, like, box size. We're doing 20 count, 24 count, 10 count, and then of course vitolas, and then the blend itself, right? So are we talking, a $12 stick retail, or are we talking a $20 stick? It just depends. That range varies so much. It depends. Are we going out of Nicaragua, or are we going out of Dominican? That changes it. So I hate to say it just depends.
No,
I think you start small, like for the my goal when I started this was very much for the everyday kind of guy who's like, I'm really passionate about this. I do want to do it. I'm not rich, right? But I can do this. And I want to do it, and I want to do it well. And I don't have to, I'm not looking for, 100% ROI in the first year, right? There's a lot of, like, making sure that you mitigate expectations at all times. We start small and say, hey, you know what? We're going to release 1 vitola now based on how much money you have. And we have to factor in boxes, rings, shipping, distribution, all of the manufacturing costs, and then getting into 10 stores, right? That's not easy to do. It does take time, especially if you haven't been in the industry. Now you're creating all these new relationships with retailers. So that I'm always like, it just depends. And so I don't like to put a price tag on it, because it's more of a nuanced conversation based on what you're looking for, right? Some folks really love Nicaraguan, and they don't want to go to Dominican, or they don't want to go to Costa Rica, right? That's exactly what they want. Well, that changes the calculus. Yeah.
Well, and those first, you hear this with so many different product categories, from cigars to bourbons to, microbrews and so many other product categories, that the first 100 accounts are a super, super steep hill. So the first 10 accounts are like a straight vertical climb.
Yes.
Like getting those first 10 accounts, especially if you're a brand that's completely new, that's never been sold, never been seen. And that's the thing that I think I've seen a lot of people, I've known a lot of people in different product categories try to get their products out there. And it's tough. Well, I don't care what you're making and what you're selling. those first few accounts, man, it's work. And think on top of that, you know, you've got let's say it is a guy who's taking money out of his 401k. And let's say he's, you know, retired, but still, you know, he's still got a mortgage payment, and he's still got car payments, and he's still got to, you know, take care of his household and stuff like that. He's not going to be drawing a paycheck for a while, because you're not working for an employer. You are your own employer. And starting out, it's tough, and you're not going to be drawing a salary. And you've got to figure out, okay, how am I going to pay my bills and my mortgage and medical bills and whatever else for the first who knows how many years while I'm getting this project off the ground.
Greg Freeze had a cigar out for what, 6 years now? 5-6 years?
5 years, I think.
And he's just finally starting to get money.
Yeah.
He's finally starting to get, you know.
Yeah. It's
he hustles his ass off.
He does.
Yeah. Even people who put in just 80 hours a week and 50 weeks on the road. It's a grind. It's a grind.
Yeah. I watch folks, Brandon over at Apostate, right? Brandon's on the road constantly, but he's killing it, but it takes so much effort, right? So like, if you want to be successful, and it does depend, right, on your vision for the brand. I've had some really great cigars out there. They don't do marketing. They're in a few shops here and there, but they're phenomenal cigars. But there's also the realization that to take it to the next level, you basically are going to be on the road.
Yeah.
Like all the time. That is what it takes if that's how you want to do it. It's also like, I've got some friends that have recently started their own brand, but they've both been in the retail industry for like 30 years, combined. So, right. They know, like, they have the connections, they understand retail. They understand, pricing strategies. They understand, shelf space. They understand how to work with a retailer. I went, I spent a good amount of time working with retailers, with Don D, on the East Coast. I did events, launch events, cutting lights, things like that. There's a lot more to it that folks aren't like that. Like you said, that first 100 accounts are really hard. I mean, the first 10 are incredibly difficult. Once you get them, it's such a celebration. You're like, yeah, I got one, You're like, now who's next? Right. You got to keep moving. So helping them understand, like, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what it takes to launch a cigar successfully.
Yeah.
There are a lot of ways to trip up, right? There are a lot of angles that people haven't considered. And like, my whole goal, as I learned all of this from close friends in the industry, in various places, various companies, there are a lot of, like, I've learned all these lessons learned from other folks, and now I can apply that to help others avoid that. Right. That's the whole goal. But helping them understand, like, this is the reality, right? Like, you're gonna have to put some work in, unless you have millions and you just want, like, you want me to set it up and get going. Like, cool. That's easy. But if you want to do this as something you're just really passionate about, I mean, that's the whole goal. Like, I want to help.
Well, and even if, say, you've got, a business partner who, is maybe not super rich, but has some wealth accumulated, and you come together, and there's a friend of yours, and he's got money to invest, and he knows you, and he believes in you, and he wants you to succeed, and he wants to be a part of it. So let's say I'll come in, and I'll, because I'm of meager, and we'll just make up the scenario. I'm of meager means, but I can put together 50 grand out of my own pocket. But my friend, who's the investor, who's got a lot of money, he's can put in $500,000 to get things off the ground. So, and you write up the inception agreements, for your business and all that stuff. Even most inception agreements for smaller businesses, we're not talking big corporations, but most inception agreements for smaller businesses, the person who's putting in the majority of the capital, they'll write in that agreement right away. I can't, this money that I'm putting in cannot be used for salaries. I can't cover salaries. I can cover startup costs and overhead, but I can't cover salaries. That's super common. And so that's another one of those things that, you know, when people, I get it. I understand the passion of people who, you know, are just everyday people with everyday bank accounts, and they want to start this cigar business so bad. But it's like, you got to think about your kids, your college funds, your mortgage payment, and all that stuff.
Your retirement.
You're not gonna, you're that paycheck you've been having for all these years, it's not going to be coming in.
Yeah.
So you gotta think about that ahead of time and just understand, okay, do I actually have what's necessary to not put my family in financial ruin to get this going?
Yep.
So,
yeah, and that's why I use it. I mean, oh, go ahead, Raul. My bad.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, I use a very data-driven approach, right? It's like the nerd part of me, but also the fact that I've been using data for years. So it's a matter of like, right, spreadsheets, numbers, forecasting, and understanding your financial limitations and at what points. And I can work with that, right? We just scale. It's just about understanding our limitations and then working through the process. I think, you're not just going to jump 100,000 in and be like, okay, everything's done. Everything's done now. There are a lot of different hiccups that are going to occur, and then you still have to get it into retail shops, and people have to buy it. I think a lot of folks think, oh, if I just have enough money, that'll solve it. Once the more money you have, the more people you have to help you run all of that, right? You have to have sales folks, or you have to have brokers. Like that's also something I help you with, is setting you up with the right brokers in the right areas. Helping build that, helping forecast out. This is how many accounts you need to grow each quarter, right? So I just take a very business data-driven approach to the process to help you understand. And like, if you're like, hey, Justin, I can only do like 40,000 for the next 2 years. Okay, cool. This is how we're going to do it then.
Okay.
Right. So I'm going to tailor that to you and your financial situation. That's the whole goal. Is I want people to be able to build that legacy. And I want to help them avoid all of the costly mistakes that do end up holding a lot of new companies back. And it just, I've had this conversation with a number of folks. They're like, the first couple of years, I lost a lot of money because I just didn't know the ins and outs. I didn't understand the retail side. But I also have, a very Creativas is my friends down in Miami to work with in marketing. Like they're a trusted partner. I'm very fortunate enough to work with Eladio Diaz and Tabacalera Diaz Cabrera and his wonderful family as one of my trusted partners. Those are folks that like we're going to do it right, because I have to do right by everyone. Like this is the way I was raised, this is the way I move. And so, as a client, I want you to understand, like, I get it, and I'm not rich either. So I understand when you have to do it a certain way, so that way it ensures the greatest level of success possible over the appropriate amount of time.
Okay.
So I got a question for you. Of course, that's what we're here for. But let's say I got 20, 30 grand, and I don't want to go big. I don't want to get a bunch of shops. I got one shop I want to go into, but I want my cigar to be phenomenal. Just as a matter of fact, I might not even want to go into stores. I just want to get my cigars for me and my friends that I can hand out. Can you help me with that too?
Yes. That's actually another vertical that I recently started building out. Was that cool? You want to do like short orders as our small batch orders, right? Mm-hmm. Like you go to, like, you're not going to call, TJ over at Aganorsa and get like 7,000 cigars, right? Like that's not going to happen. So like, and I wouldn't bring that to him. So I'm working with other manufacturers to set up these, set up agreements where we can do small batch cigars. Like you want to do something for your company, or you want to do something for, how about that cigar? Yeah, that's the whole goal of that, is that not everyone wants to launch an entire brand, but there are also a ton of people I meet all the time who are like, yeah, like kind of like be cool to have my own cigar. I want to give it out to friends, or I want to do it for business reasons, right? I meet with clients around the world constantly, and I like to gift them things. I love gifting them cigars. but I think it'd be even cooler if I had my company name on it. Yeah, absolutely, we can do that.
See, that's
Nice.
what I'm talking about.
So then another aspect of what you do, and this is, I mean, as fascinated as I am by, starting something from the ground up, I also know, I mean, we've all seen it over the years. And again, this goes into multiple different product categories, but specifically for you and the premium cigar space, companies out there that are already underway, they've maybe already even been in 100 shops, maybe more, been around for a few years, but there's just a few hurdles that they just can't seem to find their way to get over, or obstacles that they can't figure out. So for you, how do you help somebody when they come to you and say things are going okay for my cigar company that's been around for X and 5 years? Let's just make up 5 years.
Sure.
And these are the things that I just cannot seem to get dialed in. How do you then what do you identify with those companies that are underway and doing all right, but just not quite getting over?
How do you take them to the next level?
Exactly.
Yeah. How do I level up? Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. That's a group that I absolutely want to work with. Some of that requires very honest conversations. We need to explore your blends. How are the blends? How do they market to different portions of the demographic? Like, who is the demographic that you're targeting? Are you targeting the everyday $10 cigar smoker? Are you targeting a large portion? Are you just targeting the high end market, right? And I've got data sheets to share with clients, right? Like, hey, this is what you're looking at. And if you need to go back to the drawing board, that's the advice, right? We need to go back to the drawing board and explore other options. Maybe you need to expand, right? Maybe you need to bring on a broker. Maybe you need to bring on 7 brokers. Maybe you need to bring on one salesperson who can do this full time. Or you need to rethink your branding strategy. Maybe it doesn't resonate with folks. Understanding people is massive, right? So if you're not understanding your market and the demographic, then you're missing. Like that's absolutely key. Know your audience, right? It's huge. So it's just taking into account all of the variables, and then re-strategizing, right? My goal is to help, even if that requires me to be radically transparent with you and say, well, your product's not great. It's good. It's not great. How do we make it great? Right? Do we go to a different factory? Do we change the blend? Like, I'm happy to help you go do that. I'm happy to bring in people who can help do that. Fortunate enough to have enough, really good friends in the industry that I can count on. Yeah. If it's not me, it just depends. It depends on that variable. Have you put too much money into it? Are your margins not correct, or not advantageous for the business? Are they holding you back? And then what things are holding you back? Are you getting reorders, once or twice a quarter? If not, we need to explore where that retail shop is, who the retailer is. Are they pushing your product? If not, how do we change that? Do we need to look at marketing, right? Do we need to do some big marketing? So really just all of the variables. It's comprehensive. That's the goal. Is to really, I like get them moving in the right direction. Sometimes I think it's also wonderful when someone in an entrepreneur's position, right, that allows themselves to rethink what they've thought was working. So that if someone does show up and say, hey, like I really need to level up, I'm stuck, that's the greatest sign that someone is willing to do what it takes, which means they are open to my suggestions. And so once they get there and they're open to hearing it, yeah, we can absolutely do that.
So what's something really common, whether it's brands that you have worked with, that, were already existing brands that are struggling with something, or brands that you just see out there in, smaller, newer cigar brands that you see out there that are kind of stuck in third gear? Is there like one thing that's most common that you see they're just not quite seeing this particular aspect of the business or the marketing or whatever it might be that any company could benefit from if they're not dialed in on this particular thing?
First thing that comes to mind is value proposition. What's the value proposition for the consumer to smoke a cigar and spend that money every single day for what they're getting? Because we are naturally comparative folks, right? We're comparative beings. Look, one of the most consistent cigar brands out there is Padron, right? You know exactly what you're getting every single time you smoke that, and you like it's priced perfectly, right? You know exactly what you're getting when you pick up that 1964 anniversary. You know what you're picking up when you get that that 1000 series. Like now as another brand, like as a newer brand, that's your competition, right? Whether or not you want to admit it, right? You may say, well, that's a big box, like they've been doing this forever. But you still have to compete, because when I go into a humidor, it doesn't matter how big the company is. I have to know that the money that I'm spending is exactly what I want it to be for the stick that I've got.
Okay.
You have to now, if that means your blend needs to be better, construction needs to be better, branding needs to be. I've seen some really good cigar. I've smoked good cigars where I thought the branding was lacking, and and we buy with our eyes. That's like marketing 101, right? People buy with their eyes. If the branding's off, people aren't going to pick up your stick. That's going to set you back. That's like an immediate. But I think people don't understand the kind of the hard numbers of demographic of cigar smokers, how much they're willing to spend, what those margins are in the different tiers, and understand that that's your competition, right? If I'm spending, $17 or $18 for a T52, and you have a broadleaf that you want to push for $18, it's got to be as good or better as that other cigar. Even if you have the understanding that, well, I'm boutique, it costs more, I don't have the same margins that Drew Estate. Well, that's great. You still got to compete, and you can do it. And people are out there doing it. They're making great cigars at a really wonderful value. So sometimes it's just rethinking, right? But I think that's the biggest thing is the person smoking that cigar has to believe that they're getting their money's worth.
Yeah, I like that.
So are you limiting yourself to just putting this together, a whole cigar brand together? Or can I call you and consult? I just bought this fucking shop. Excuse my language. I don't know why I'm cursing so much. Probably because I was with the boys all weekend. I just bought this shop. I want you to come in and help me consult how to make my shop better. What brand should I have in my humidor? How should I set up my lounge? Will you help me with all that too if I call you for that?
I'm happy to give you my personal opinions. It's not my area of expertise. I've spent an immense amount of time. I have a very close friend who owns 4 shops in Northern Virginia. He's the second largest in Northern Virginia, actually in all of Virginia, behind Old Virginia Tobacco. And he's been teaching me for years, the retail side. But I have a very good friend who is actually in the midst of starting a company to help other lounges with exactly what you're talking about. So happy to put you in touch with him.
That's awesome. Yeah, because it is. I think about that now, and it's like, it is. Because you want the information and the guidance that you give to a brand to be, you strive, Justin, I know you do. You strive to make sure that you're up to date on everything and that you give the best possible guidance to brands that come to you. And for shops, it is a different vibe. And you could also, really get yourself dialed in with, to be able to help shops as well. But boy, I think you'd sleep 20 minutes a night if you were really, really good at both. So having somebody who dedicates themselves just to that shop space kind of guidance, I think that's good.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, like, I'll put you in touch with my friend who's doing this. We're partnering up to do some like educational videos, things like that, to help shop owners, lounge owners, because it's interesting, right? Like, I've talked to over 100 lounges in on the East Coast over the last couple of years. And understand, and I've been to a ton of shops, and I've tried to sell to a ton of shops. So you learn all these kind of really interesting dynamics where I think it puts the lounge at a disadvantage. And so I think there's a range of active lounge owners. Some are intimately involved with the everyday operation. They're intimately involved with the buying and the purchasing and what they're going to put on their shelves. And then you've got some that don't smoke cigars at all, and they're responsible for purchasing and putting things on the shelf. I also understand, right, to open an account with a larger brand is costly. It takes up a lot of shelf space. There are a lot of different considerations you have to make. There is a neat shift that I learned over the last few years working with a lot of retailers, was that the appetite for boutique cigars has grown immensely. And it's kind of wonderful to see how much that's growing year over year. And I don't have the details in front of me right now, but like I've done the market research on like the percentage of sales from lounges that are now that are accounted by boutique cigars, and it's growing year over year. So we're kind of at this interesting position now, like in the industry, where there's kind of a lot of saturation in the market, but there's also a lot of room for growth. And cigar lounges are growing still, statistically. So it's a good thing.
Nice.
I like that idea. I think, how can I put this? I think there's a lot of lounges out there that could use that help. There's a lot of lounges that can use that help.
Yeah.
Either they got a great humidor, shitty lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Great lounge, okay humidor. They got a great personality, but the shop doesn't fit their personality.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that everybody's going to have a big bank account fast.
We should get him on the show.
He's going to give me the number. You just said it. So, what do you want to talk about? Should we talk about what his blends are? What do you like to smoke?
Yeah. Everyday smokes for you. Like, do you gravitate toward mild cigars, bold cigars? What do you find yourself smoking most often?
Sorry, you cut out on my end there for a minute. So apologies if I didn't hear everything, but I heard, you're asking what I smoke on a regular basis. It depends. I have like a 1,400 cigars. I have a couple coolers with boxes in it. I have 3 electric humidors. I have Tupperdoors. I have all kinds of stuff. It really just depends on my mood. I enjoy smoking medium to medium full. I like a lot of body. But I also don't mind, like, there are these cigars. There's a gentleman in Virginia, LH Cigars, makes this really good Connecticut Lancero. I love it in the morning. First thing in the morning, like with a cup of coffee, absolutely love it. I'm also a sucker for Lancero in general. So if it's Lancero, I'm going to smoke it no matter what. But it just ranges. I like boutique. I like big box. I've got, I still have Davidoff year boxes for the last 5 years sitting in a cooler
Nice.
with a bunch of bodas. So it just depends on my mood. I enjoy supporting my friends as well.
Yeah.
That's fun for me. I want to support my friends. I have some good friends in Northern Virginia, just launched their brand not too long ago, Sir Passion. Really wonderful guys, very knowledgeable, super knowledgeable about cigars. And we sit and smoke together all the time. I love supporting them. They're actually doing quite well. I don't have a go-to. I think in my I have this with me. I just grabbed a handful of sticks before I left. I think I have a Don Doroteo in there, a Casada 75th anniversary. I have some Papas Fritas. Love those guys. We were talking about those earlier. I had a Casa Fuente. So they're like all over the place.
Yeah.
And what do you
but
prefer?
I think it's.
Go ahead.
I think it's imperative that, and this is the geek part of me, right? But if you don't smoke every single possible thing you can get your hands on, like how can your palate be really mature? It's just like wine. It's just like bourbon. It's just like food, right? The more you smoke, the more you learn, right? Like I want to be able to pick up a cigar without a band, which I like doing with my friends, and say, all right, like, let me tell you what this is, right? If I can get it down to the brand, awesome. But like, hopefully I can tell you, oh, this is Nicaraguan, this is Dominican, or something is off in this, and it's like something random, like Colombian or, Brazilian or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's also one of the things I'd love to see brand owners do is, right, like smoke everything constantly, right? Continue to evolve your palate. You can't just smoke your own cigars.
That's for absolute true. And we'll talk about this kind of later in the show, but we do kind of talk about that with all our guests each week. And it's rare that we get a brand owner who doesn't also smoke stuff from other brands, but it happens.
It happens,
from time to time. And I, quietly, we don't bash them on the show for it, but quietly I'm like, really? You don't ever smoke anything that's not, that you don't make? I don't know. I just find it a little strange, but is what it is.
What do you find yourself pairing with most of your cigars? Is it depending on if it's kinetic, you're drinking coffee? If it's Maduro, you are drinking bourbon? What do you find yourself pairing most of your cigars with? Oh, he froze.
Oh, we'll give it a second for everything to come back to life here.
Come on, buddy. Come back to us. Stay away from the light.
What's Facebook look like? Are we still alive?
Yeah,
we're still alive, I think.
Yeah, we're alive. Hello.
He messaged us in the private chat. I said he froze. He'll be right back.
No.
So until we get him back,
after these messages,
let's get him back. Until we get him back, let's just talk about the cigar and barbecue scene down in Kansas City.
There we go.
Here we go.
Back.
We'll talk about that later because I know you've been down there a few times. So what do you find yourself pairing your cigars with? If it's a Connecticut, do you like coffee in the morning? If it's a Maduro, do you like bourbon? I'm mostly water, but what do you like pairing your cigars with? Hello?
I don't know if you can hear us yet.
Can you hear us?
Oh boy.
Oh,
that's all right. We'll get it figured out.
Oh yeah. So, until we get him back again. So Kansas City.
Oh, he's back.
Sorry, guys.
All right.
No, that's all right. I think.
All right. Third time's a charm.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi here down in Southern Virginia in the country isn't usually the greatest. So my apologies. I had to talk to my phone to get me.
Go move that deer around. Make sure you get it. You get the deer the right spot.
Yeah, you got to point the rack on that deer in just the right direction to get that Wi-Fi.
They're actually 25 feet from me right now, out in my dad's garden.
I love it.
So for the third time, it's a charm.
Yeah, there we go.
What do you like pairing your cigars with?
All right. So this one gets complicated for myself. And a lot of bourbon folks hate it when I say this. I do not pair a full-proof bourbon with a heavy, full-bodied cigar. The reason behind that is higher proof bourbon is going to basically scorch your taste buds and numb them. And then you've got combustion in your mouth. So you're not going to get the best of either. I've over many years of trying, I've tried a lot. I enjoy any cigar with a Scotch. Anything in the 80 proof to 85 proof range is easy enough that you can enjoy. They're more complimentary. Honestly, wine, like a really good old world red, does really well. Japanese whiskeys, if you get like a Hibiki 21, I've crushed a bottle of Hibiki 21 with a good friend at the lounge with a bunch of cigars in it, and it pairs really well. I like the complimentary. I don't like it's not something I do too often. Just because I find that my taste buds are pretty fried from the bourbon, and that's because I usually only drink cask proof bourbon. So anything over 115 is the only thing I drink. So it doesn't lend itself to having an enjoyable cigar experience as well. And if I weren't as geeky about cigars and really wanted to taste every single note in the cigar, then I really wouldn't care. I guess it's because I'm a nerd or a purist or whatever you want to call it.
Okay, nice.
Is it?
So I'm wondering,
is it time?
I think, do you think it's time?
I think it's time.
All right, guys, it is now time for this week's
Numero de los Muertos.
All right, it is time for episode 290, Numero de los Muertos, the weirdest segment in all of cigar media. So, Justin, here's the deal. I'm going to give a number, and you, along with Justy Smoke and Raleigh and our viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and
Rumble
are going to try to guess how these people died. It's weird. It's morbid, but
Okay, that's right.
our fans absolutely love this segment. So we are going to jump right in. So the number this week in the United States annually, on average, 400 people die from this.
a year.
A year.
Yes.
Is it a workplace accident?
It can be, but that's not specifically
Cheating spouses.
cheating. No, it's not cheating spouses.
That's worth a shot.
Are animals involved?
Animals are not involved.
A firearm.
Ice related incidents. Like
It is not ice related.
Are deers involved? Oh no, animals.
No,
Never mind.
no animals.
oh yeah, no animals. How morbid is it going to get? I mean, could it be like something super like
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
anything
gets
goes.
deep. Anything goes.
high rise falling deaths?
Not high rise falling deaths. No,
Is it self-inflicted or inflicted on another person, or
it's
Accidental.
it's not self-inflicted. It's not intentionally inflicted on another person, but
it is done to another person?
it
Not a bacteria or a virus or anything like that.
it's more it's not disease or bacteria or anything
Person.
medical.
Tom wants to know, is water involved?
Water is not involved.
About falling in a hot bathtub,
No, not falling in a bathtub.
jumping off a bridge.
Not jumping off a bridge.
Falling off a bridge?
Not falling.
Pushed off a bridge.
Not pushed.
Burn the bridge and fall?
Nothing to do with bridges.
But we burn them all the time, right?
We do.
Not.
Oh,
for
wait.
cigars,
No,
not
we
bridges.
don't
Got
burn.
it. Got it.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Every once in a while, we put a torch on.
Every once in a while.
You have to.
Kitchen incidents, like falling on a kitchen knife.
Not kitchen. I'd say most of these happen outdoors. I'd say maybe a small portion happen indoors, but I'd say most of these probably happen outdoors.
Trees falling on people.
Not trees.
Is it something falling on somebody?
Yeah.
It is not something falling on somebody.
Okay.
People dying from pickleball.
Not pickleball.
Or being
Is
too
it
good at
sports
pickleball.
related at all?
It's not sports related. No.
Is alcohol involved?
No.
Is this entertainment?
Not entertainment.
No.
Overdose from ibuprofen.
Ooh.
Oh, no. But I like that. Gonna have to
Note that one
put that in
down.
my notebook.
Daniel.
Um,
Cars involved?
Cars?
vehicles are involved.
Like four-wheeled vehicles?
Any wheeled vehicles.
So is this on the road?
Land,
Falling asleep at the wheel.
on land.
But is it on a road, like a car, or
Could be on a road. Could be.
could be
HBD.
in the middle of a field?
Could be.
Okay.
It's not falling asleep at the wheel.
Not falling asleep at the wheel.
DWI.
Not DWI.
Flipping down the stairs.
A sinkhole.
No, not slip. We're specifically looking. Not sinkholes.
Okay.
We're specifically These are vehicle related.
Vehicle related. Bro, I would imagine you know more, like as a firefighter, like, you handle a lot of those calls.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually stupidity crashing into stupidity. But sorry.
Running into trees, inanimate objects.
Nope.
Fuck.
The car spontaneously combusts.
Tony
And they
says
just blow up.
Yeah.
No.
vehicles are involved and some are
Electrical ones.
indoors.
Vehicles are involved, and some of these deaths and injuries
Yeah.
occur indoors, even though vehicles are involved. I'll give another hint. Not only are
Carbon monoxide poisoning.
not carbon monoxide poisoning. So not only are 400 people on average killed every year in the United States because of this, on average in the United States, over 75,000 accidents or injuries are caused by this related to
It's
vehicles.
got to be dumbasses on their phone.
Hit a
Nope.
pedestrian walking
Not-
across the street.
Nope, not pedestrians, not texting while driving or
Not-
being on your phone.
Tire blowout.
Yes. William Janofsky. Tire blowouts.
Damn.
Tire blowouts. So tire blowouts lead to a significant number of traffic fatalities each year. Specifically, estimated that over 400 deaths result from tire blowout accidents annually. Furthermore, these incidents are linked to over 75,000 accidents. And this is according to the National Highway Transportation and Safety Administration.
Wow.
So the ones indoors, like I worked in a tire shop for years
Yes.
growing up. If they blow it, like, it's pretty
Yeah.
bad. It's
And
pretty gnarly.
There's actually not, it's not a massive statistic, but there are somewhere around 100 of those. Well, no, it's 75-ish of those 400 per year are tires on farming equipment. So, but those massive tires on tractors and stuff like that.
Wow.
So
we had a gnarly one a few years ago where semi tire came off, bounced across the medium, and hit the guy right here. And while he was driving his windshield, and crushed him and killed him.
I don't know if so. I mean, the tire blowing out is one thing, but if the actual spindle and wheel and everything detaches from the vehicle and jumps immediate, I don't know if that's counted in this. I think it's not. I think it's specifically related to air. Like broken axle or something like that. Or I don't know if I think these are specifically related to blowouts or somebody hitting a big chunk of steel that dropped off a semi or whatever, or inflation related.
Okay.
There was like a whole movie series about that, right? In the 90s. What's it called?
Final Destination.
Final Destination.
Yeah. Where the logging truck, they're driving behind the logging truck. Ooh.
Yeah. There was actually, because of that movie in the 90s, it still scares me when I'm behind a log truck. I'm like, nope, I got to get around this thing.
Oh, see, William knows he drives a semi, so he's seen it. Yeah, semi drivers, over the road drivers, they see every manner of tire related issue, and they have to deal with it more than anybody. I mean, you're talking about literally 18 tires on your vehicle, and if you're not paying attention to what condition your tires are in, what condition your axles are in, PSI, all that stuff, then and there's I'm sure William's not this way because he watches How About That Cigar. I'm sure he's extremely safe with all that stuff, but there are some drivers
right now as he's driving.
Yeah, he's watching
through Oklahoma.
We recommend listening to How About That Cigar when you drive down the road, and you can watch it when you get to where you're going.
Don't hold your phone up like this.
It's best to listen to the audio podcast version while you're behind the wheel. Definitely safest. So that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, it is time to reveal this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postani Cigars. And there's still a fair amount of spirit in this glass, but I've consume quite a bit of it as well. I have to say, I'm really enjoying this bourbon. I don't think it's like cask strength. I don't think it's barrel proof. I'm going to put this somewhere between, I mean, it's a little warm. I'm going to put this somewhere between like 112 to 120. It's got a little bit of spice to it, so it feels like there might be, a little bit more rye in the mash, but I'm not completely sure. But I'm really getting this interesting kind of
it's rubber from that nipple is what Tony says.
Yeah. What are you saying? I'm not drinking fast enough.
You need a nipple for that.
There's a
glass.
lot of bourbon in this
Exactly.
glass before. I think I've done all right. Thank you very much. There's some interesting kind of flavor going on in there. It's not like the cinnamon that you get from the Amburana wood, but it's kind of there's some unique sort of herbal spice thing going on that I can't quite put my finger on, but it's enjoyable.
It's 101 proof.
101. Okay, it tastes hotter than 101. Not, but okay, I'm gonna, just because the only distillery that's in Kansas City that my wife and I visited last summer, 2 summers ago, summer of 2003, is J. Rieger.
No.
It's not J. Rieger. Yeah, that's the only. I don't know any other Kansas City distilleries.
Well, after yesterday when I had to go take a nap, those guys went to that distillery.
To J. Rieger?
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. If you ever make it to Kansas City, do the tour at J. Rieger.
Mm.
It's a blast, and they do distill some good spirits. They got some legit people working on their.
I would have bought a bottle if I would have went, but
yeah,
I was incapacitated.
Yeah, that's the only guess I have because it's the only distillery in Kansas City that I know.
So now I said I went down there and I bourbon hunted. What brand have I been looking for lately?
Penelope.
Yep.
Is this a Penelope?
That's a
I thought you
Penelope.
said this was from. That's why I guessed because you said you got it in Kansas City. I thought you
did
meant.
get it in Kansas City.
I thought you meant it was. I thought you meant it was from a local place.
I did get it in Kansas City.
Okay.
Roma.
Okay. Penelope toasted barrel finish. Okay. That's a good bottle.
That's what you said earlier, the toasted marshmallow.
Yeah, I was getting like brown sugar or like some kind of dark sugar, like brown sugar or toasted marshmallow or something like that. Molasses, maybe. Yeah. But I really like this one a lot. It's unique.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I think Penelope has been doing really well for the last few years is putting out blends that just aren't your average, these are the bottles you got while you were down there?
Picked up. So they just released.
Holy cow.
They just released a creme brulee bourbon.
Huh.
Whoa.
Flavored?
So this says
it's kind of like their Rio, I guess, but I don't know. I don't drink.
No,
so.
it's not. It's called Penelope Architect straight bourbon whiskey finished with French oak staves, 110 proof. And then you got Penelope with a black label, Project X, which 112 proof. Spain, a cask from Spain. Wow. And then this one that I'm drinking, the toasted, and then you got the Russell's single barrel, Russell's Reserve. Is that the rye because it's green? Yeah. Kentucky straight rye. And then Red Line Whiskey Company Elements, the Hive edition.
And that is it is somehow a honey barrel and a Amarano barrel.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
If you want some really good finishes, Starlight out of Indiana, I've done a number of barrel picks there. I bought like 6 or 7 barrels there. Phenomenal finishing. Really, the Huber family is like amazing. It's cool to go out there. Like the farm has been in operation since the 70s. It was originally a winery. So like they do some really, really cool stuff out there.
I actually have one of their ones they did with Amarana.
Me too.
What?
We did 2 Amarana picks.
Yeah.
And then you've got the
Weller Big Boy,
of course, the big boy bottle of
Green
Weller,
Label?
classic Green Label Weller.
Yeah.
And then the Penelope Rio, which, this is the one. So the Penelope Rio straight bourbon whiskey finished in honey and amberana, double cask finish, Cooper series, 49%, 49%. So
it's pretty light.
It's not super strong, but that's man, you got some good bottles.
That's the first time I went on a trip and spent more on booze than I did on cigars.
Oof.
Yeah.
I agree with Tony Corey. Looking forward to poker night even more now. So yeah, I cannot wait.
Those amberana finishes are actually really good with a cigar.
Oh yes.
Like depending on which one you get, like I've had a couple that are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Those I actually do enjoy. Like the flavors are complementary. They don't compete, they complement.
And it's mostly a cinnamon kind of flavor, right?
That's what I get from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a RD1 one that has it, and what was the other one?
You got
a barrel.
You got a barrel, and don't you also have the Penelope Amberana?
That's it right there, the Rio.
Oh, I thought you had it before.
No, I never had it.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah, those are really good cigar.
All right, let's jump into the lightning round, brought to us by J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 114-year-old El Reloj Cigar Factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or their visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right. So, Justin, if you were about to get into a fight, what would your soundtrack music be?
Not a cyber fight, a good old fisticuff.
An actual fight. Yeah, Rocky. Yeah, theme song from Rocky.
But honestly, I think it's the most popular answer, and you can't go wrong with the theme song from Rocky.
No, I mean, Eye of the Tiger makes me want to go crazy. So it's like a great lifting song too.
Yes.
I'm
although I haven't lifted in a couple years.
What do you mean
you've been lifting that glass all night?
Yeah, I've been lifting it.
All
right, so I know you don't eat fast food much, but what is the most overrated and underrated fast food franchise out there?
I mean, McDonald's, overrated, underrated. Five Guys. I know West Coasters are going to say it's In-N-Out, it's the best.
No.
I actually think Five Guys in comparison is underrated.
All right.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah. If you like greasy fries.
Oh, their fries are. Oh,
I know people love their fries.
If you get the fries from Five Guys with the Cajun spice on them,
yes, they're so good.
Forget about it. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll eat a bag of those and take a nap.
But you have to eat it there. You can't bring it home.
No, you got to eat it there.
You got to eat it fresh. Don't get it DoorDash to you.
Yeah.
The bag is greasy. All the grease has left the fries. It's in the bottom of the bag now. Yeah, you definitely fresh.
Yes.
Justin?
All right, Justin.
That was a West Coaster.
There you go. The zombies are coming. You get to pick 3 people from the cigar industry to be on your zombie apocalypse survival squad. Who do you pick and why?
Okay, I'm definitely going with Juan Lugo, my man from Don Mateo, because we've both done enough stuff and we both have guns.
There you go. Allegedly.
I heard that on Graham. Shit. That's a really good one. I'm gonna probably take my guy John Lorendi, Peter James. He's gonna be the good looking one that they go after first, so I can bob and weave behind him and splash. And then probably Mike because I can never say his last name, so I don't want to do that to him. Just because yes,
Cigar Hustler, Postania,
yes, just because he has the right attitude to slay.
Oh yeah,
love that.
He can throw down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that answer. Those, yeah. Guns allegedly. I mean, you may, yeah, it's possible. I mean, I just maintain that all of my guns were lost in a tragic boat accident. And it's sad they just ended up at the bottom of the river. It's, it's unfortunate, but
it's a really bad current.
And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
I
agree with you.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Let's jump into notable smokables. So, Justin, each week, all of us name a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. Now, this could be a cigar that's brand new to the market that you smoked for the first time ever, or it could be a cigar that's been on the market for ages that you just smoked for the first time in a very long time. Ooh. So what is something you smoked recently that really stood out to you?
Man, that's a lot. Because I smoke something different like every single time I smoke. I did have a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I smoked like a 2017 Fuente Opus.
Oh,
that was really good. Quite notable. Yeah, that would probably be the one that stands out the most in like the most recent couple of months. That I was like, "Ooh, man, that was good."
I love it. Justy, what about you?
I had a Bentley Green, the Maduro.
Nice.
That was a good one.
Nice. Raleigh?
I had to go in my box, and I smoked a lot of them, but I haven't smoked one for 4 or 5 months. Dapper's El Borracho, the blue label.
Oh, yeah.
I love that cigar from Ian.
Yeah.
I do. It didn't lose anything. Tasted delicious.
Nice. So last weekend, my incredible wife surprised me with a trip down to the Emerald Coast area of Florida. So Destin and
I love it.
Fort Walton Beach and that area, absolutely incredible. So there's a shop in that area called Sure Thing Cigars. And she and I stopped in there and sat down and, she smokes cigars like once a year, and she said, let's each grab a short cigar and we'll sit down and have a cocktail and a cigar. So I grabbed one for me and I grabbed her, Acid Blondie, and she actually loved it. She was like, I would smoke these more often with you. I was like, all right. And then I ended up, buying 2 boxes of them. But for myself, I grabbed a short, the little like petite Corona of the Davidoff Grand Cru.
Solid.
And we sat there each and enjoyed a cocktail and talked to the ladies working in the shop and had an absolute blast for, 40 minutes and then, moved on with our day and kept exploring the area. But really cool shop if you're in that area. And I'm working on and hopefully getting one of the owners on the show for, Hidden Gems one of these days. But really, if you're in that Destin area, not far from Destin at all, it's kind of in the seaside, area, not far from the beach at all. And tons of cool little shops right next to it as well. So, but yeah, that Davidoff Grand Cru, I mean, give me a break. It's delicious. And sitting next to my wife,
she's enjoying a cigar.
Well, she's also enjoying a cigar
and a drink in your hand.
And you just can't beat it.
That's a great experience.
Yeah. All right. So coming attractions.
So next week, I was down in Kansas City this weekend, and we found a shop called The Shop.
What a great name. I'm sorry, but it's so simple, but what a fun name for a shop. It's called The Shop. I love it.
So we met Mike Simmons, the owner, retired law enforcement. And we sat in the shop and we were like, it's got a solid humidor. But what he's done with the atmosphere, it's always jazz playing in the background. He's got his whole setup. His couches are all facing each other. So it's like a circle. Each section, you're not lined up. It's
all conversational. Yeah.
It's all conversation. It's all the build community. He's got a private lounge in the basement. He's been doing this 2.5 years now. Phenomenal guy, phenomenal atmosphere there. And on the weekends, he has jazz players come in.
Oh, I love
opens the doors. It was one of the best experiences I've had in a lounge almost ever, I think. And the 3 guys that I was with we were all blown away with it.
Nice.
And how cool he was. So yeah, he's going to be on the show next week.
Can't wait. As part of our Hidden Gem series.
Yes, and it is a hidden gem. Well, not for long, hopefully. Hopefully everybody knows about it.
Yeah, and then next week during the show, everybody will know about it.
Yeah.
All right,
Awesome.
and then June 16th, we have Brian from Cavalier Cigars coming on the show, and then June 23rd, Eric Bay will be back on How About That Cigar Live from Black Star Line.
I know something about that guy. What?
You know something about
He
that?
used to do something.
He used to be a firefighter.
in Chicago. That's right. That's why I like him
He
so
is
much.
a retired Chicago firefighter, and I'm pretty sure this will be his third appearance
time,
on How About That Cigar Live. So grateful to have him coming back on the show. So Justin, if you would please give our viewers and listeners an idea, where is the best place for them to keep up with everything you have going on?
Yeah, website is legacyleafco.com. Legacy Leaf on Legacy Leaf Co. on Instagram. My normal Instagram, Justin_neat. Any of the above. Or just call somebody and ask for that guy, Justin, who smokes cigars and drinks bourbon. Or maybe hit up TikTok. I don't know if you want. I'm not on there, but like, call me, hey, I need that Justin guy. Like,
Yeah, just complain to TikTok corporate, and the message will get to you somehow.
it'll get to me. I'll get someone to flag it for me.
Or try to pull some cyber shenanigans with TikTok, and it'll definitely go to Justin.
I'll find you.
Well, brother, we cannot thank you enough for being on the show. Thank you so much for giving us your Monday evening and telling us about everything you've been working on. And we wish you all the best, brother. Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate you guys having me on. Truly, thank you. Enjoyed it too.
All right,
Talk
viewers and listeners, thank you guys so much for being the best part of How About That Cigar Live. We are so grateful to be back on the air after a long hiatus.
Finally.
So for those of you watching live on Facebook, YouTube, and
Rumble,
thank you so much for watching us. And if you would please make sure to click on all of the big, beautiful buttons, the like button, the follow button, the subscribe button, so you don't miss anything that we have going on. And of course, for the wonderful audio podcast listeners, thanks for listening to us while you drive down the road, while you work out, whatever it is you do when you listen to your favorite audio podcast. Thanks for making us a part of it. If you have questions for us, you can email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Be sure to follow us on all of your favorite social media. You will find us at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys. Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.